How's the week going so far in preparing for Orlando?
Good. How's your week?
Very well, thank you very much.
Next question.
Brett Shea, what does he bring? Get it?
Breck Shea.
So my week is going well. Practice has been intense again this week. We had a good day off on Tuesday, so yesterday and today were high intensity work days. Lucky it's been a little bit warmer than usual, so try to acclimate as much as possible to what we'll expect in Orlando. We know that it'll be turf. We know that it'll be hot, but it's also a 7 o'clock kickoff, not like Kansas City, the 2 p.m. kickoff. So mentally preparing for a difficult team, and especially on the road with a new coach.
What are your initial impressions of Brian Schmetzer as the head coach? Is it really different, or is it?
Well, I think it definitely is different for sure, especially having the same coach for so long. He brings something different to the table. I've had a number of already one-on-one interactions with Brian just to make sure that we're on the same page, the team is on the same page. So a little bit of a different attitude. Anytime there's a switch like that, I think gives the team a little bit of a boost. I thought the team played well on the weekend, and now we have to translate that to this weekend. So a lot of the focus this week has been to put in the hard work. Wednesday, Thursday, we obviously have a long travel day tomorrow. We'll get back after it on Saturday and bring that same attitude, fight, willingness to work for each other on Sunday in Orlando.
How different are the actual practice sessions with Schmetzer as a head coach rather than Sigi?
Yeah, I'd say different. I think as much as you want to notice a change with Sigi, I think it takes a whole shifting of a little bit of a paradigm to come in and say, all right, this is how we're going to do things now. So yeah, I think a lot of these trainings, a number of us haven't done certain drills before, so it almost makes you think a little bit different, and that's all how Brian wants to play. It's but it's also Ante and Jimmy and Tommy putting in their word on how they see the group moving forward. So we have to cater to our team's needs, and they saw something that needed to be switched. So I think we've had a couple different drills, which kind of expands your thought process during trainings, gets guys a little bit excited, and also, obviously, like I said before, it challenges you, number one.
Brian yesterday talked about smart soccer from the midfield and the defenders. Can you elaborate on that?
Yeah, I think there's obviously a smart player is one who it can go a number of different ways. So if you're winning a game, knowing how to control a win. If you're losing a game, knowing how to push the tempo. If you're tied and you're on the road, knowing how to keep it at a tie. If you're tied at home, looking to a win. If you want smart players that don't necessarily have to be physically imposing, but who can make the key pass at certain moments. I think a lot of that smart player dictates the pace of the game, and can take a decent player to the next level. So in my mind, don't have to be the most physically imposing guy, but you can be a very smart soccer player and be very effective at the same time.
Does that allow creativity then on the field?
I think it's creativity, obviously, is number one. I think we all need a bit more creativity at moments, but also you have to be on the same page. So a lot of stuff we're doing in training is allowing players to be smart, think about things, so that when it comes to game time, having that creativity, but everybody's on the same page to get the ball in the back of the net.
In terms of the energy boost you talked about, how much of that seems to be just a new head coach and everyone's trying to prove themselves to the new man in charge, and how much seems to be Brian and his coaching style?
I think it's definitely both. With any team, I think obviously you saw it in Orlando. They bring in Jason. They get a result on the weekend against a good team. And so for us, I think, like you said, is guys want to prove themselves because. Sigi obviously had his favorite players, not his favorite players, but guys who he thought could get the job done. And now you bring in a new coach who maybe has a different philosophy. So I got to put my head down and work, because at any moment's time I could be sitting on the outside looking in, and that's the reality of it. And none of us have ever. No, I have never faced this situation before. I know a number of guys have. So keeping guys on their toes is number one. That comes with a change.
How much responsibility do you feel as the captain to sort of help ease that transition? Do you feel like your role has changed at all in the last week or so?
I think the transition was easy. I think it was maybe it would have been a little bit different if it was a completely new staff coming in, top to bottom. But the reality was, Schmetzer and Sigi have been together as long as I've been here. So guys know him, know personality, so that when he did turn it on to the next level to rally the whole group, it wasn't a massive shift. He didn't come in and all of a sudden play a 3-5-2. That was, the first day he didn't come in and play a diamond. The guys didn't really know what to do. So I think the shift was immediate. It was right away, and that made it a bit easier of a transition.
Schmetzer has talked about every player competing for a spot. Does seeing Torres out there make you push that much harder?
Yeah, I mean, ultimately, I think I'm a guy who can play multiple positions, and he's a guy who can play one position. So I think I understand the situation at hand. Nothing will ever change my mindset going into a training session or a game. I think I've adapted to multiple positions fairly well. So at the end of the day, when he's ready to go, I would imagine he'll step in at center back, and I'll ultimately have to fight for another position on the field, and that's fine. It's business, it's soccer, we want to make our team stronger, and I'll be the first one to tell you that all I want to do is win games, and wherever I fit into that equation, we'll see when the time comes.
Your thoughts on playing a team that also made a change? Jason Kreis made changes over the weekend. They got a result. You face a team that's made change also.
Yeah. It's a difficult challenge playing in Orlando. Turf, a massive crowd. They're a very, very good team at home. So right now we have to be focused on ourselves, though, and getting results, and especially on the road. We got a decent win in DC, and that was the last time, in a long time. So we need to figure out how to get results in a row, because we know if we get one here and we've got 2 home games, if we can get confidence on the road, that carries into home games and continue on. But the focus remains at Orlando on Sunday, but a rejuvenated team themselves, and I know that they'll be flying from minute one.